time was not a given. It was a craft humans learned to refine. Across cultures, the birth of past and future began when people started counting seasons, recording events, and telling stories about what came before and what comes after. In this video, we trace that moment, from ancient calendars and myths to the clocks and theories that govern today, and show how that shift rewired memory, planning, and even dreams. You'll see why the simple split of then and next became the backbone of history, science, and everyday life. If you've ever wondered how the idea of time was born, you're about to watch it come to life. From change to chronology, humans live in a world of constant change, where senses register shifts in place, state, and motion every moment. We notice days turning to night and tides rising. From that drift emerges a basic mental pattern. We remember what happened, anticipate what might come next, and search for regularities in the mess of events. This is how the idea of past and future begins. Languages help societies coordinate action by fixing time in words and structures. Some tongues attach time to verbs with tense markers. Others lean on contextual clues and helper words, or on the sequence of sentences themselves, to signal when events occurred. The goal remains consistent: map change onto a usable map. In many tongues, past expresses closure, completed events, and finished states, while future points to upcoming possibilities and planned acts. As civilizations grew, people began recording and arranging events with calendars and chronicles. Calendars tie seasonal cycles to agricultural rhythms and trade. Chronicles order episodes in a sequence, creating a narrative spine that societies can rely on to coordinate memory, obligation, and aspiration. Scribes and priests often steward these records. This shift from recognizing change in the moment to organizing it into a linear timeline marks the birth of chronology as a practical tool and a shared framework. Philosophers have long debated whether time is something real that slides by or a structure our minds impose to hold events in a row. Some argue time is a feature of perception. Others insist that time has an external order, which science can describe through clocks, rhythms, and measures that standardize duration and simultaneity. The debate matters because it shapes how cultures tell stories about beginnings, middles, and ends. In contemporary thought, time remains both a measurable dimension and a narrative device that lets people plan, compare, and imagine the future. Today, digital tools extend chronology into data. Timestamps, timelines, feeds, and version histories transform memory of events into accessible evidence and reason projection. Past events pile up in archives. Future possibilities are rehearsed in simulations, forecasts, and goal setting, turning open potential into structured intention. The birth of time is a gradual translation from the raw flow of change to the organized order we rely on to live together. The emergence of past, memory, and retrospection. Memory is the brain's capacity to encode, store, and retrieve information about past events. People learn to rely on memory for survival and social coordination. The emergence of the notion of the past grew from repeated practice, naming, telling, and rehearsing what happened so it could be recalled later. Early groups used ritual, repetition, and communal storytelling as memory tools. These methods did more than preserve acts. They created a social archive that could outlive any single observer. Language provided the scaffold for labeling events as past and for imagining what might come next. With words, events become more than felt moments. They become stories. A child learns the concept of yesterday through ritual, repetition, and predictable sequences. Communal narratives then bind people to shared histories, giving memory a trajectory beyond individual experience. Memory does not store events as exact replicas, but as episodic threads that carry spatial and emotional context. These threads are then woven with facts and meanings by language. The brain's hippocampus and connected networks bind moments into coherent episodes, while the prefrontal cortex helps plan future actions. As a result, recollections are constructive and selective. Rituals, myths, and institutional practices act as external memory stores that stabilize what a group considers the past. Calendars and seasonal cycles anchor time, so memory links events to recurring patterns. Stories travel, adapt, and persist, shaping expectations about the future. In modern life, digital archives broaden memory, making the past searchable and remixable. The birth of the future, anticipation and planning. Humans solve problems by projecting possible outcomes and weighing how different choices might unfold in the hours, days, and activities to come. That capacity sits at the core of how we birth the future. Brain functions connect memory, imagination, and a sense of cause and effect, with the prefrontal cortex guiding the sequence of steps we might take. Time splits into past and future. The birth of the past and future concept grows from memory and foresight, turned into practical tools for daily life. The birth of the future emerges when communities need to align actions that stretch beyond a single moment. Calendars and schedules become shared commitments. Contract law, markets, and cooperative projects translate private plans into publicly observable timelines, turning anticipation into coordinated practice. Farming, trade, and travel depend on forecasts that reduce risk. Storytelling and record-keeping anchor imagined tomorrows in memory, creating a culture of planning that outlives individual minds. Anticipation acts as both compass and engine, directing investments in research, design, and infrastructure. Forecasting tools help fix flaws before they become costs. Urban planners use simulations to test how streets fare under different traffic patterns, while software teams lay out roadmaps that describe features, milestones, and risks. Scenario planning invites stress tests for what might go wrong. When plans fail to align with reality, feedback loops push revisions, prototypes, and pivots that steer projects toward usable outcomes. In everyday life, the birth of the future often shows up as personal goals, skill development, and long-view decisions like education or health. Hope and worry ride along with these choices. Modern tools democratize foresight, letting individuals model budgets, career paths, and even climate risks with interactive dashboards and adaptive plans. But planning also raises questions about privacy, equity, and the limits of prediction. Ultimately, the future is not a fixed script, but a field of possibilities we shape through attention, experimentation, and collaborative action. Codifying time, calendars, seasons, and social rituals. People across many cultures have long relied on repeating cycles to organize daily life. The steady rise and set of the sun, the cycle of night and day, and the waxing and waning of the moon provide reliable anchors that connect memory to experience. Memory preserves what has happened, while expectation leans toward what will come. This simple split between past and future grows more elaborate as communities coordinate work, worship, and social events. Even without formal clocks, communities drift toward shared rhythms that make timekeepers of daily life. Calendars codify those rhythms by turning observation into structured sequences that societies can share. With writing and record-keeping, hours become days, days become months, and months become seasons that can be predicted and planned. Agricultural needs often drive calendar development, aligning planting and harvest with observable cycles rather than uncertain memory. Solar calendars track the sun's path to keep the year aligned with the seasonal cycle, while lunar calendars follow the tides and phases of the moon. Some cultures create lunisolar systems that mesh both rhythms to keep agricultural and ceremonial life in step. Seasons become the language of social life as much as weather. Seasonal transitions invite rituals, festivals, and rites that signal community memory and common purpose. Weekly cycles organize labor and rest, markets and gatherings, making time a shared schedule rather than a private impression. Rituals often hinge on turning points: planting, blooming, harvest, and retreat, creating predictable moments where knowledge, gratitude, and obligation intersect. Religious and civic calendars embed these cycles in stories, songs, and laws that outlast any single generation. Today, the idea of time still rides on the foundations laid by those early codifications. Digital calendars, time zones, and work plans translate ancient rhythms into a flexible but anchored system that people navigate daily. Cultural diversity remains visible in how communities pace life. Some keep lunar months alongside solar civil years. Others synchronize with astronomical cues to set holidays. The sense of past and future persists as a social skill, not just a private sensation, and calendars remain the scaffolding for memory and ambition. Time is narrative. Memory, identity, and orientation. Time as a concept hinges on how humans turn events into stories, binding memory to expectation through language and shared practices. We arrange scenes as before and after. By narrating experiences, we condense messy change into a coherent arc that can be recalled, debated, and reinterpreted. That arc becomes the seed of past and future for individuals. Even the simplest diary entry or weather report participates in this birth by framing what happened and what is likely to follow. Autobiographical memory stitches a person to a stretch of time, granting continuity when bodies and circumstances shift. Identity grows from remembered turning points. Rituals and routines reinforce that continuity, turning scattered memories into a repeated narrative the self can inhabit. Future plans then act as bridges to a projected self. When a favorite anecdote recurs, it affiliates emotion with a timeline, and the mind learns to predict how today might echo yesterday. Cultures codify time through calendars, rituals, and stories that socialize individual memory into a shared orientation. Seasonal cycles shape work and rest. Collective memory archives become the reference against which new events are evaluated, easing coordination and identity across communities. We tell origins to guide decisions. Religious holidays, anniversaries, and even legal contracts rely on a narrative sense of what counts as past, present, and future to keep agreements alive across generations. Neuroscience maps a network that moves between remembering and simulating tomorrow, revealing how memory and foresight share courses in the brain. The hippocampus and prefrontal areas collaborate. When people imagine possible futures, they recruit the same episodic memory system that recalls past events, a feature that makes planning feel plausible and emotionally resonant. That overlap helps explain why stories about the future can feel as concrete as memories. In everyday life, time as narrative guides decisions. Choosing a career path, maintaining traditions, or adjusting plans after a setback, by turning uncertain happenings into a story with a beginning, middle, and anticipated end. Today we traced how the idea of time is born from memory and expectation. The past becomes knowable through what we remember, the future becomes navigable through what we anticipate, and the present is the moment where those threads meet. Calendars, clocks, and stories give change a shared order, turning dynamic life into a framework we can coordinate with others. In short, time emerges as a human construct shaped by language, culture, and social needs, even as the physical world continues its own relentless motion. If you felt the tug of memory or the pull of a plan today, you've touched the heartbeat of time's birth, the everyday way we live with past, present, and future. Your relationship with time is part of what makes your life feel real and intentional, and it's how communities align their actions across days and seasons. If this sparked your curiosity, like and subscribe, and share a thought in the comments about how time shows up in your life. In upcoming episodes, we'll explore how different cultures mark time, how time perception works in the brain, and what physics says about past, present, and future beyond clocks. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.